Hey, vinyl community. Elliot here, Lazy Dogs Records, and I'm going to enter Zach's contest. Deep Track Zach from down in Georgia's got a contest, and he calls it, let me get this right here. These are a few of my favorite blues. What a great contest. I love it. It's simple. It's an opportunity for us to show some of our records from our collection, and it's for a good cause. So here I go. Now, I always like to talk about what I'm playing in the background, and a gateway drug, folks. This was a gateway drug for me. Allman Brothers Band at Fillmore East. Why was this a gateway drug? Because this is what led me down the blues rabbit hole. First you get the rock band, and I was like 12, 13, 14 years old. You get the rock band that is really a blues band for a rock audience, and you listen to their stuff, and that makes you wonder about what else is out there. And one of the great things about the Allman Brothers is they always tried to, if they were covering a blues song, Stormy Monday, they made sure you knew it was a T-Bone Walker song. If they were doing, whatever song they might be doing, there's another one I was thinking about, Statesboro Blues, Blind Willie McTell. They made sure they credited those artists in the liner notes, and made sure the royalty credits went to them, unlike a lot of bands. And they also, in this album, for instance, they mentioned several blues artists' names, Blind Willie McTell, T-Bone Walker, among them, and that leads a impressionable kid down a path that I've been running down ever since then. So this is a great album. In fact, this copy is a friend of mine's. He gave me his box of records he had pulled out of his family home's attic several years ago and had been sitting at his house. And I kept telling him, I said, give me those records and I'll clean them up for you and get them in good shape for you. And this is one of those records. We listened to this at his house many times when we were teenagers. But and this is actually Whipping Post that's playing right now. Whole sides of this album are just one song. Whipping Post is side 4, and You Don't Love Me is side 2 on here. Okay, so enough about that. Where did it lead me from listening to that? So Zach wants us to show 3 to 6 albums, blues albums, and boy, it was hard to narrow it down to 6. But I tried, and I think I've got one that Zach showed on his, and I hadn't watched any of the other entries, so I don't know if I'm crossing. No, I've got 2. I think 2 of these in here are ones that Zach showed, but I tried not to show all the ones that Zach showed. He showed some great ones, and the first one I'll show you is, and I think 3 or 4 of these albums are albums I bought when I was that young, impressionable kid in my teens and early 20s, I guess. This one is Lightning Hopkins, Lightning Strikes. Don't you love that picture? And nothing real striking. This is on that Everest Tradition label, folk and blues or jazz. It was a reissue label. That's what they did, and you could pick these records up new in the various configurations. Let's see. You could pick these up at a lower price. And what did that do? That inspired you to take a chance on something. Lightning Hopkins, I don't know who that is, but that looks like a blues guy. We didn't have the internet back then and stuff. So, when records were selling for $6 or $7 each, and these were $4, maybe $5, you're more likely to buy it. So thank goodness for reissue labels like Everest. And this is a really good album. And of course, Lightning Hopkins is just a killer blues artist. And another one that I just love because he's just a sweet man. I mean, you know, everybody would want to have this guy for your granddaddy, or if you're my age, for your buddy you hang around with in retirement. Mississippi John Hurt. What a great, just a good soul. Uh, Beautiful, delicate playing. He's down in Mississippi, but he's not playing that rough, you know, uh, you know, tough, uh, hard blues that you would get at one of those honky tonks down there or something. He's playing that homey, mellow, bluesy stuff, doing things like Lewis Collins and Avalon Blues, his own version of Frankie and Johnny that he calls Frankie, Stacko Lee Blues, Candyman. So, excuse me, this is on Yazoo. Let's see if I can hold this up. And what a wonderful artist. Nothing special about the vinyl. This is, something I bought in the late 70s, probably when I was 20, or probably when I was in college. I got this one. That Lightning Hopkins I probably got in high school. But oh man, if you don't have any Mississippi John Hurt, you really need some. He is just, like I say, oh man, I don't have words for it. Just great. Now, you didn't have to be raised in the South. You didn't have to be an African American to play the blues. That's a misnomer. That's, I think people, it might be the popular thing to say, but I don't think it's true. You can be anybody, come from any circumstances, and be a wonderful blues artist and an authentic blues artist. And here's the case in point: John Hammond solo on Vanguard. This was recorded in 1976 at the Vanguard Studios. There's that traditional Vanguard label. And he does a solo acoustic, Skies Crying, Truckin' Little Baby, Drifting Blues, Wish You Would, Hellhound Blues, Robert Johnson song, Guitar King, Got My Mojo Working. Just a wonderful, look how cool the cover is. John Hammond, he's actually John Hammond Jr. His dad was the man that got together those great traditional performers and jazz artists up in New York, got them together to come to New York and perform. And I would be remiss, I haven't shown this one lately. I've shown volume 1, but about volume 2 of Robert Johnson, King of the Delta Blues players. This is him in recording. Was it Houston, I believe? They brought him to Houston and sitting in a hotel room and recorded. They said a mariachi band was there too to record, and they asked him to play some for them, just for them to hear him play. And he was so self-conscious, he turned his back and played. Just didn't feel comfortable facing, which is interesting. And some nice artwork of the guys, recording. He only did, I believe it's 37 tracks he recorded. So you can get volume 1 and volume 2, and you've got everything Robert Johnson did. Of course, they've repackaged it in so many different variations, but this is just, this is great. Love in Vain's on here, which the Rolling Stones later did to popularize it even more. Malted Milk that Eric Clapton did on his Unplugged album. Dead Shrimp Blues on here. Rambling on My Mind, Sweet Home Chicago. I believe I'll Dust My Broom. Kind Hearted Woman Blues. Now, Robert wasn't the first, but to me he was the the one that affects me emotionally the most of all those Delta blues singers. He's kind of the second generation after, you know, several of the ones we also think about as being leaders in the blues, forefathers of that music. Okay, and a modern record. Here's Buddy Guy. The blues are alive and well. Notice he signed it. It says Buddy Guy 2019. My friend who I got the Allman Brothers album from, his collection to clean up for him, he called me up one day and said, I got a ticket. Can you go with me? See Buddy Guy. His wife wasn't able to go that trip. We went to Durham, and third row, center. Unbelievable. VIP room and everything. He and his wife had the tickets for the Durham Performing Arts Center season, which entitled you to prime seats, and you go in there to a VIP area to wait before the performance starts and all that neat stuff. I've never been in that sort of situation before. It was so neat. Got a poster of it too. I wanted the album. I think it was $40, signed, open signed. I really didn't care, if I'm not standing in front of them and saying, Mr. Guy, would you autograph this? That doesn't, having a signature doesn't carry that much weight with me, because he signed all these, and they had them out at the merch table. But I said, if you got one, it's not signed, a sealed one, that's maybe $30, 25, 30. But he said, no, this is all we got. So I said, what the heck? Laid it out there and got that. And I'm glad. This is a really good album from the great Buddy Guy. And finally, the last one I'll show is one I highly recommend. It's a recent issue, 2015, but it was recorded, well, it wasn't recorded that long ago. Etta Baker. In the same vein as Mississippi John Hurt, Etta Baker was just a wonderful soul, just a beautiful acoustic player. This is called Railroad Bill, and this is on the Music Maker Foundation label. Tim Duffy, who does that, which helps out blues and other traditional artists on hard times. Helps pay their bills when they can't anymore, gets them medical care, all kinds of good stuff like this. This was a limited issue, limited to 500. That's not numbered, but limited to 500. Now, just because it's limited to 500 doesn't mean, I always take that with a grain of salt. That doesn't mean they're not going to print 500 more and issue them later. But she's just a wonderful artist. She recorded she was recorded in the 1950s, I guess it was, and her music came out on a record. It was like traditional music of the Appalachian Mountains or something. I've got the album here. I found it somewhere. They recorded a couple of tracks of hers along with other traditional music, not necessarily just blues, but all kinds of stuff. And there she is with Tim Duffy, the founder of the Music Maker. But she was a young woman. She was married. They recorded her, and became very popular. Taj Mahal said he learned several things from listening to her tracks on that album. And she was offered the opportunity to go and start working the folk circuit and play. I think it was at the Newport Folk Festival. She had the opportunity to go to the Newport Folk Festival. This would have put it in the early 60s, I guess. And her husband just didn't really want her to get into that life. It's a difficult life. And he discouraged her. And she had a job working in a factory there around Morganton, North Carolina, in western North Carolina. She had children to raise, and they made the decision that no, she would stay home, raise children, and work to bring income to the family. And she didn't go, and they got Elizabeth Cotton to go. And of course, Elizabeth Cotton had a late in life career in music. And they say that if Etta had decided to make that trip to become more heavily involved in that in the early 60s, that she might have been as well renowned as Elizabeth Cotton. She's Etta Baker, just a wonderful work. Railroad Bill is the album. All right, well, that does it for me. That's my contest entry. Now, Zach said that he wanted us to name a charity. In case we won, he would donate to that charity. I will name the UNC Lineberger Comprehensive Cancer Care Facility in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. They do research and treatment for cancer there. UNC Cancer Center is basically what it is. So good luck on your contest. You got a great site. If you don't subscribe to Deep Track Zach, Z-A-C-H, Zach, Deep Track Zach, you really should. I'll put a link to his channel down below. He's got a great channel, great taste in music. He does a lot of different things. Sometimes he'll record something and put it out. You know, a great track song might be blues, might be rock, could be any number of things. And he does vinyl community videos as well, also on live streams. So, Zach, thanks for the opportunity for me to show off some of my records. Everybody, take care. Remember, be kind to your neighbors because we're all neighbors.